Welcome back. In this video I'm going to discuss the ABCs of astrology. Hi, I'm Alison. Welcome back to my channel. I believe that it's important for everyone to have access to astrology, and I don't believe that you need to take formal classes or do complicated things to get an understanding of astrology. And even for the layperson or the man in the street, you don't need to know absolutely everything about astrology to get some benefits from it. In this way, I like to share my, what I'm calling Astro art with you. I do quite a bit of drawing and image creation around the symbology and astrology, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to show you some of it. This is one of the actual images that I created. I designed this pattern using Procreate for the iPad, and we're going to go through exactly how this was done. This is actually a greeting card, and it's already written up. I'm going to be sending it to my friend Diane. It was her birthday recently, so when next time I see her, she will be receiving this. So the idea is that you create the actual art pieces, and then you can have them put onto greetings cards or what have you. And we also have them on stickers as well. So although this is not a how to do astrology tutorial, it is actually, we are going through 26 points alphabetically, fortunately for us, about what astrology is and about features in an astrology chart, in a birth chart or natal chart or any type of chart really. So I'm going to go over the 26 points found in a birth chart from A to Z. So for each letter I've only chosen one actual feature of a chart. Clearly there's only one for A, although there may be other items that start with A in a chart. This is more of a fun approach to getting a bit of a grip on astrology. You may go through this list and notice that you know half of them, or you know a few of them, or you know all of them, or maybe you don't only know one or two. But these are kind of keywords that astrologers use. They are features in a chart that you'll be looking out for when you're doing charts, and they are concepts to understanding astrology to start with. It doesn't have to be complicated, and this is a high-level view of some features in a chart. It's shown through the actual art and the diagrams that I have created in this particular art piece. So I'm going to share that with you now. So here I'm just showing you how I actually did the layout for the main image. I've got the 26 squares of the alphabet from A to Z laid out, two rows of 5 and then split over, and then 2 more rows of 5, so that we have the title of the astrology of ABC right in the middle. I then went through and laid over the alphabet going through A, B, C, D, and I started to draw the little images that are going to go on it, that I felt represented each letter of the alphabet astrologically. I also laid in the background colours randomly to add in the colours I love, the golds and then sometimes cyan as well. So each of the little squares has their background colour in randomly, and then I started drawing the little images or icons, if you will, representing the A to Z of astrology, the ABC of astrology, with certain aspects of each part of astrology being shown by the letter. I continue to use my standard colour palette, all the shades I love, and created little images for each letter. So I went back in on some of them and really detailed it up. Others are much more straightforward, and we're going to go through them one by one now from A to Z. Here we have A is for aspects. The aspects are the connections between two planets in a chart or points, and they are the dialogue between the planets in the chart, and they create the interest within your own chart. I've got B is for books, because as astrologers you will always have lots of books. 3 of my most favourite books are the Robert Hand books, the Nicholas Campion books, and of course Ptolemy's Tetrabiblos, one of the best books I think that's ever been written about astrology. C is for the chart. This is the actual layout of the chart. We can see an example of one there, where you've got the angles, the signs, the houses, the planets, and the aspects. D is for descendant. That's the part on the right hand side of the chart. It's the cusp of your 7th house. Our example here is 15 degrees 37 as the descendant. Then moving on, we have E for ephemeris, and ephemeris can be either written books, January 1, 2, 3, or the one I like to use is the graphic ephemeris, showing how the planets are moving through on a visual diagram. So F is for fixed stars. These are the ones that move ever so slightly, but we look out to them. Several are used in astrology. There are millions of them. Of course, you have the 4 royal stars of Persia, which are hugely popular. And then, of course, I do love Vindamayatrix. That's one of my favourite fixed stars. Then we move on to the planetary glyphs, or the symbols and glyphs within astrology. You've got glyphs for signs, glyphs for planets, glyphs for aspects as well, and the points within a chart. The ones in the example there is the sesquiquadrat, Saturn, Aquarius, and the part of fortune. H is for the houses. There are 12 houses. They run anti-clockwise through the chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Each house is an area of life, and it's one of the building blocks of astrology. We can see there the first house is in white, which is how I see it myself, and then it gets darker and darker the further round you get till when you get the 12th house, which is often indicated in black. For I, we have the IC, or Imam Cole. This is the lowest part of the chart. It's where your foundations are built for your life. And in this example, we have 7 degrees, 15 minutes of a sign as the actual IC within your chart. J is for Jupiter. There's your symbol or glyph for Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. It's a great planet. It's for the great planet. It's the planet of great expectations. It's lucky. It brings opportunities and optimism into your life through your Jupiter placement. For K, I've got Kepler. Johannes Kepler, and particularly Kepler's second law of planetary motion, which states that planets sweep out the same area in the same amount of time. And what this means is that if a planet is closer to the Sun, it is moving faster and will cover more of the zodiac than when a planet is further away from the Sun, moving slower and therefore describing a lesser arc on the zodiac. For L, I chose LMT, or local mean time. And for those of you who still remember casting charts by hand, you need to work out what the local mean time will be in the place you were born. You may have standard time, which will be your time zone, or you may be even on GMT, but LMT is your local mean time. For M, we have the midheaven. This is a point in the chart. This is at the very highest point in your chart at the top. In this example, we have 15 degrees Sagittarius as the MC. The MC indicates your highest honors in life, what you are striving for. It can often indicate your career or profession, and it is the initiation of any business that you start by yourself. Into the second half of the alphabet now, we have N, and N is for nodes. These are the lunar nodes. You have the north node in white, you have the south node shown there in the darker color. They are the points where the moon's path crosses the plane of the ecliptic, the sun's path, and they indicate where eclipses will occur twice a year for everyone. O is for orb. An orb typically, the example here is the orb for a conjunction is 8 degrees. Most of the Ptolemaic aspects, orbs are 8 degrees, except the sextile are 4 degrees. Orbs are a constant conversational piece, but in general I use 8 degrees on a conjunction, and that's what we're showing. So any 2 planets within an 8-degree orb will be considered conjoined. So P is for planets. We have some symbols there for the planets: the Sun, Pluto, Venus, the Moon, and Mars. And each of these planets are the energies in the chart. There are typically 10 planets we use in general. We consider the Sun and Moon planets, even though we know one is a star and the one is a natural satellite. I also include things like Chiron, which NASA says is a comet, and sometimes the asteroid Ceres, and so on, and the dwarf planet Pluto. That's the one there in grey. Planets are the dynamic energies within a chart, and they are probably the most important things in your chart. Q is for quadrants. There are 4 quadrants in astrology: the first, second, third, and fourth. Again, it begins at the ascendant. They are ways of slicing up and dividing the chart through the ascendant-descendant axis and the midheaven IC axis. The quadrants are not necessarily always the same size, but the 2 opposite quadrants always will be. R is for retrograde. Most of the planets will have a retrograde cycle. The Sun and Moon never do. Mars has a 2-year retrograde cycle, and then the outer planets generally are retrograde every year, and Venus will be retrograde 5 times in 8 years. Mercury is, of course, the exception. Mercury will generally be retrograde 3 times a year for around 3 weeks at a time. S is for signs. We're talking about the 12 signs of the zodiac. Symbolized here we have Pisces, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aries. The signs are how people come to astrology. Everyone knows what their birthday is. You know your sun sign because the sun will have been in that particular sign on the day you were born. And many people do sun sign horoscopes based on the signs that are important for them and the sign in which the sun is found the day they were born. T is for transits. The transits refer to the planets moving as we speak up there right now, and the planets are continuously moving. Some move fast, some move slowly, and depending where the planets are, how they are making connections into your natal chart, that will show how they will affect you. Transits can also linger for a long time and create patterns within themselves that we all live with, and this is mainly where horoscope writings come from, the actual transits of the planets. It's the first forecasting technique that most astrologers use, and in fact many astrologers only ever use transits. U is for universe. Tricky letter that one was. So the universe is basically where we are living. It's a massive, expansive place. We are able to expand our view into the visible universe through as the telescopes get better and better, but clearly it appears that it just goes on and on forever, and Stephen Hawking had a lot to say about this, how the expansion of the universe was created from the Big Bang. Very interesting stuff indeed. So V is for vertex. Vertex is a point on the western side of the chart. It's typically either in your 5th, 6th, 7th or 8th houses. It can be considered as an auxiliary descendant. The vertex is a point in your chart where people will come and go, new people arrive, other people pass on or pass over, and any people that you meet who connect to your vertex will be significant people in your life. Then we have W, which is the wheel. The wheel is actually, as we would refer to it, the chart wheel. It looks like a wheel. It's got 12 spokes, typically coming from the houses. And of course, that wheel is moving forward all the time. It's just symbolically that it's a circle. It's very interesting how we use these shapes as well in astrology. So X has to be the trickiest letter of all. So here we have what I'm calling the X factor. There's your question mark. We don't know, but the X factor in any chart has to be you. How are you using the potentials that are found in your natal chart? 2 people born on the same day will have the same charts, but how are you using it? And that's bringing your original personality to it, the X factor, which is built that we all have in every life force. So Y is for a yod. This is a major aspect pattern. It's 2 quincunxes of 150 degrees, and they both sextile the 2 planets, and the 2 planets are in sextile together. So it's a very slim and pointy little triangle there, and it's known as the finger of God or the finger of fate. And people who have yods in their charts are known as yod bearers. And then we get to Z, and for Z I have the zodiac. These are the signs of the zodiac. That is the signs that the sun passes through each year. So even though there will be other constellations like Orion and what have you, the sun doesn't pass through those. So all the signs of the zodiac lay on the path where the sun passes, the plane of the ecliptic, and this is typically what we're using, the tropical zodiac generally, in the astrology work that I do. Great. So there it is, my 26 points from A to Z about main features in a birth chart. If you enjoyed this video, please do give me a like and consider subscribing for more videos similar to this. I'm Alison Price. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.